What really happened to André Rieu, the man we know as the king of the waltz, the magician who made stadiums sway and tears flow with just a bow and a smile, suddenly collapsed at 75? Was it the end of the music or the beginning of a truth we've never been told? Behind the glittering concerts and standing ovations is a story of hidden battles, private heartbreaks, and the one love that carried him through it all. Stay with us because this is the untold story behind the waltz that never stopped. André Rieu was born on October 1, 1949, in Maastricht, into a family where discipline was valued above imagination and order mattered more than love. His father, also named André, was a respected conductor whose baton ruled orchestras and his household with the same merciless precision. There were no lullabies in their home, no laughter echoing through the halls, only stern silence. Later in life, André admitted with haunting simplicity, "My parents didn't love me." His mother was obsessed with grades and achievements. Creativity was seen as weakness, and artistry was not celebrated, it was punished. But when André turned 5, everything changed. A young 18-year-old violin teacher entered his life. She didn't reprimand him for mistakes. She encouraged him to feel the music. For the first time, the boy discovered freedom and sound. The violin became his escape, his lifeline, his only source of tenderness. While his father tried to suppress his passion, music gave him the strength to dream. Other children practiced scales, but André chased resonance, chasing not perfection but feeling. As his teenage years unfolded, his growing passion for waltzes clashed violently with his father's disdain. "I didn't raise you to play waltzes," his father screamed. Those words weren't just criticism, they were meant to crush his spirit. But fate had other plans. In 1968, André met Marjorie, the woman who would become his compass. She wasn't dazzled by his charm or blinded by his ambition. She was calm, bookish, and thoughtful. Where André was fire, she was still water. They shared long walks under trees, late-night conversations about art and life, and slowly, a bond grew, one of mutual respect, curiosity, and love. When André's parents rejected Marjorie, he made a choice that defined his life. He walked out of his family home that very night and never looked back. That house remained untouched, frozen in silence, while he built a future with the woman who believed in him. Together, they dreamed of music that wasn't bound by rigid traditions. They wanted to create concerts where joy and humanity came alive, where music belonged not only to elites, but to everyone. In the 1970s, André was still working with informal, orchestral structures, but he longed for something more human. By 1978, he broke away and created a small salon orchestra, 12 dreamers playing in modest community halls. At weddings, even in forgotten towns, they weren't chasing glory. They were sharing music for the sake of music itself. While it was Marjorie who quietly kept the dream afloat. She managed the finances, booked the halls, wrote scripts, and solved problems without ever seeking attention. André was the face, but Marjorie was the foundation. In 1987, the dream took shape with the founding of the Johann Strauss Orchestra. From the start, critics mocked them. Too many in the classical world. André's bright costumes, playful atmosphere, and emotional performances were musical pornography. But the people loved it. Gone were the stiff black tuxedos and solemn silences. In their place came color, laughter, and waltzes that invited audiences to dance and cry with joy. A moment in 1995 proved to the world that André Rieu had changed classical music forever. At the UEFA Champions League final in Vienna, he and his orchestra stepped onto the football field. As Shostakovich's second waltz echoed across the stadium, 50,000 football fans swayed together. For a moment, sport and art collided in perfect harmony. That performance shot André to the top of the Dutch charts for 19 weeks. It was unheard of for classical music. From there, the phenomenon spread. In Australia, he filled stadiums with more than 38,000 fans, outselling pop legends like Pink and AC/DC. His DVDs dominated the charts, holding 8 of the top 10 spots. To his audiences, he wasn't just a conductor, he was a magician bringing back joy to music. Families danced together, grandparents wept, and children laughed. Classical music was alive again. But behind the golden lights, shadows grew. In 2010, tragedy struck. A viral infection attacked André's inner ear, destroying his balance. For a violinist, this was devastation. He could no longer stand or perform. Tours were canceled. Audiences left disappointed, and André lay bedridden, his world spinning uncontrollably. It was more than illness, it was the breaking of a myth. But once again, it was Marjorie who held everything together. Calmly, she canceled shows, managed the business, protected André from media pressure, and cared for him at home. She saved me, André admitted later. Not just my career, my life. During those dark days, he sat down and wrote a private letter to her. In it, he confessed, "If this is my final tour, know that every note was for you. You are not my muse, you are the melody itself." For years, the letter remained hidden in a drawer of their Maastricht castle until their son Pierre discovered it and encouraged his father to share it with the world. Even after recovery, tragedy continued to haunt him. In 2016, while touring in Leeds, he received news that his closest friend and trombonist, Ruud Merckx, had died in his sleep. André was shattered. He canceled shows mid-tour, unable to continue. "He was like a brother to me," he confessed. The orchestra, his second family, mourned together. In 2019, audiences saw the same smiling André Rieu step onto the stage. But behind the smile was a man battling a vicious flu, feverish and weak. He still lifted his bow, determined to give his audience everything. Fans applauded, never realizing how close he was to collapse. For decades, André had built his reputation on strength and joy, but his body was beginning to remind him that even legends are human. By 2024, the cracks were undeniable. 6 sold-out concerts in Mexico City were meant to be a victory lap, a celebration of everything he had built. More than 40,000 tickets had been sold. But altitude, exhaustion, and illness struck like a storm. After just 2 shows, André faltered, breathless and fever-damned. The remaining concerts were canceled. Fans were disappointed. The orchestra was stunned, and for the first time, André knew something had to change. That change came through his son, Pierre. Once only a tour manager, Pierre stepped into the role of protector. He cut back the punishing schedules, canceled long intercontinental tours, and insisted on medical staff at every performance. More than that, he reshaped the concerts themselves, introducing pauses, stories, and intimate moments. Fans thought it was generosity, a gift of connection. In truth, it was strategy, designed to preserve his father. For the first time, the maestro obeyed someone else's tempo. One unforgettable night in Maastricht proved just how much things had changed. During the encore, André called Pierre onto the stage and handed him a microphone. Hesitant at first, Pierre began to sing with the orchestra. The audience erupted. In that moment, they weren't watching the king of the waltz, they were watching a father and son bound by love. Through it all, Marjorie remained in the shadows by choice. She never joined him on stage, even when he begged her. "That's your world," she told him gently. "Mine is where you return." She never needed applause. She wanted him safe. Now at 76, André still performs. The thunderous polkas are fewer. His bow lingers on the final notes, stretching them as if unwilling to let go. And the fans who watch closely can see it, the tears in his eyes, the whispered dedications in his encores. Every waltz, every note, is for Marjorie. Their castle in Maastricht, once a symbol of ambition, is now their sanctuary. "We used to dance around the world," André says. "Now we dance in the kitchen." Their love story isn't written in public gestures, but in the quiet moments: morning coffee, garden walks, laughter shared in silence. For decades, André believed legacy was about albums sold, tours completed, and his name etched in history. But now he understands. His true legacy is love, the marriage that endured, the woman who sacrificed her dreams so his could flourish, the family they built together. The world may remember André Rieu as the king of the waltz, but those who look deeper know the truth. This was never a one-man show. It was always a duet. And when the final note fades, we'll remember André Rieu not just as the king of the waltz, but as a man whose greatest masterpiece was love. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe so more hearts can feel the music behind the legend. Thanks for watching.